Athletic and Recreation Center on Mohawk College campus, where tonight we have a battle for second place in the OCAA Western Division between the Mohawk Mountaineers and the St. Clair Saints. The St. Clair Saints sit at 11-3, the Mohawk Mountaineers at a tough 11-4, right in the thick of the playoff race. This position will decide an automatic berth in the OCAA playoffs. I'm Nick Birnie, alongside me, Christine Midgley. Christine, take us through what we should expect from the Mohawk Mountaineers if they want to be successful in tonight's matchup.
Well, if they want to get that bye week, they really need to focus on their pace. That's what Coach Duffy's been working on with them this week. Actually, he's made sure that they've been watching games from last year over and over, trying to, I quote, tattoo that concept into their minds. So we'll see if the girls can keep it quick, but let's take a look at those starting lineups.
Yes, let's get to tonight's starting lineup just before game time, and what we have for the Mohawk Mountaineers: Steph Rymack, number 15, Hunter Johns, 11, Jasmina Kucic, 34, Carissa Brown, 13, and Sam Pockernick, number 3, as the starting 5. And for the road visiting St. Clair Saints, we have number 10, Aaliyah Martin, number 12, Leah Beeler, number 14, Shannon Kennedy, number 15, Tori Hanser, and number 23, Nicole Tam.
It's sure to be a game. Let's see what's going on.
First tip is off, and underway we go from the David Bray Athletics and Recreation Center on Mohawk College campus. St. Clair with the ball on the offensive end and going to the hoop and up quickly, and missing an opportunity on a turnaround right-handed hook shot is Nicole Tam. And the ball will be turned over after an offensive foul. Good hustle from the Saints. You can even hear it from their head coach, fourth-year man Andy Kiss. But the Mountaineers now on the offensive end, Christine. And they've had some good games of late offensively on the 3-game win streak coming into tonight's action.
What's got to help, they've got Steph Rymack back. Having her miss those couple games over that injury was rough, but she's back, and she looks like she's back in full force.
Unfortunately, a bit of an off start there on the first shot from Sam Pockernick. Felt good from beyond the arc, but didn't look as nice, falling just short on the air ball. Back the other way, leading the attack, Beeler. Now here's a little handoff. Kennedy going to the hoop strong, doesn't get to go, gets her offensive board thanks to Tam, who gets it underneath, can't get the left-hand shot to go. Kick out, looking at a 3 with hands, or she'll hold up. Handoff, Kennedy, she goes up fake, then she does take the 3 and nails it. What a start. Quick early strike from beyond for St. Clair, and a 3-0 lead in the first minute. Rymack looks inside, that one tipped away.
No, it's going to be a fight straight through with these. Both these teams want to this win so badly.
Ball inbounded quickly to Johns. Johns sends it out. Rymack 3-pointer, a little bit strong on that one as well. Offensive board down low. Brown finds Pockernick. Kick out again. Johns to Rymack, and she just took the extra step before she put the dribble down. Commonplace to see the Mountaineers have a couple slow starts here and there. I was talking to both Shannon O'Neill and Steph Rymack about it at the end of last game on Tuesday night in their win. And they both had things to say like, it's not exactly how we plan it, but it just seems to be the way it's gone all through the year. They would like to get rid of these slow starts, but again tonight, 3-0 to a first minute and a half. Not a whole lot working yet shot-wise from the Mountaineers in their first couple trips.
Realistically, though, they've been getting it back the last couple games. They are on a 3-win streak, so we'll see if they can keep the momentum up.
Hanser misses down low, and after the loose ball, Mountaineers awarded possession. So a chance to try and get on the board again here. Carissa Brown to Johns. Johns down low. Tried to go inside, down low on the block to Kucic. And it was tipped away, so another inbound for the Mountaineers by the baseline underneath the Saint net.
St. Clair's defense is really focusing on the inner shots here. I think if they stay outside on that 3-point line, that's going to be where they get the most success.
Inside Rymack, nice little dish, and Kucic. You could hear the slap on the arm.
They can't get through. That's where they're having the problems.
So like you said, tough defense from inside inside the key at least, from the St. Clair Saints, but that time Kucic able to earn herself a trip to the line for 2 free throws. And Jasmina able to hit the first of 2, and that will get the Mohawk Mountaineers on the board in tonight's game. As mentioned and previewed, this is a battle for second place in the OCAA Western Division. The Saints sit a half game, you could say, lead in front of Mohawk in terms of percentage. They're slightly better, 11-3 in 14 games played. The Mountaineers 11-4 in 15 games played coming into tonight's action. Saints moving the ball forward, working inside. Beeler finds her teammate Markovic off the bench for a quick deuce down low. And excuse me, that was not Markovic, that was Martin, number 10.
It was close.
Close enough, 10 and 11 there, Martin and Markovic. A miss from beyond the arc from Rymack as the team starts 0 for 3 from outside. Johns, Rymack again will try from the other angle and hits.
See, there it is, there's the 3-point.
Took a few shots at it, but Stephanie shows no lack of confidence and drains her 3rd attempt. Second on that trip down the court, and now a loose ball and possession. The Arrows in the way of the Mountaineers, and with 7:34 still remaining, very early in the first quarter. The Mountaineers have slowed things down for the Saints. By the way, Kucic, who nailed those 2 free throws, improving upon her 62.5 shooting percentage from the line. There's an air ball, though, from Johns from down low to our left. Here's an outlet pass from Martin, and going up with it was Beeler. Great job by Rymack to stick with her. And only possession won by the St. Clair Saints. No foul on the play, so a good, clean defensive stand from Stephanie Rymack, who, as you mentioned prior to the game, returning for his 2nd straight action, but last time out against Sheridan did not get much time on the court. Duffy seemed to want to ease her back into things.
Yeah, well, you don't want her to come back and then just re-injure herself again, because she is such a strong leader on this team. Huge playmaker, as you see, going in.
Oh, that pass, though, right through the fingertips of Karina Brown. Actually hit her right underneath the chin, I feel. But she looks okay, is shaking it off. Back the other way come the Saints. From the corner, an open look, and it's off rim and out from Martin. Back up top, look for Beeler, doesn't go off rim either. Down low, ball battled with, lost as Martin had the offensive board, and eventually a foul called on the Mountaineers. And it will be Jakayla Douse, who was substituted on by the Mountaineers just prior, as we'll see a couple substitutions from the St. Clair Saints coming on as Cheyenne Riggin now for the first time. There are, well, everyone on, I should say, the Saints, except one player is from the province of Ontario. There's only one member who's outside the province. That would be Alberta native Leah Beeler, who's in her 2nd year from Fort McMurray, Alberta. 5'6" guard who wears number 12 for the Saints. Ball pushed forward, Shannon O'Neill. Kick out, Pockernick from range, just off to the left, and then the ball loosely on the floor goes off the foot unintentionally of Jakayla Douse and out of bounds. So a little bit still of a rough start offensively. The shots not falling for the Mountaineers early, though both sides have gotten some open looks and have just been unable to finish early in tonight's game. Back the other way, a little handoff from Beeler. The shot doesn't go from Tam. Loose ball rebound, grabbed under the net by Riggin, but possession this time, the arrow points the way of the Mountaineers.
So we'll see if with this drive, whether they get that attack that Duffy wants to see. He wants to see those quick passes, and he needs them to be accurate. And that's where I think the girls have been struggling so far.
Karina Brown inside with the right hand, doesn't go off glass. Jakayla Douse an offensive board, and she'll draw the foul on the way up. Jakayla had quite a few offensive boards in their last game against the Sheridan Bruins earlier this week on Tuesday. The Mountaineers have played quite a few games in a row. Sheridan finished 3 games in 5 days for them after playing against Cambrian College over that weekend. And now, after just, well, 3-4 days off, it's been another matchup here at home, and it's a bigger matchup against a team that, as we mentioned a couple times now, sits just in front of them in the standings. Shot goes from Douse. She makes both, and the Mountaineers have their first lead of tonight's game as the Saints move forward. Martin losing it, turning it over. Brown the other way now with Rymack on the rush. Rymack couldn't get much to go there. I didn't get a very good look either.
Well, she was all by herself. There was no one to pass it to, and quite frankly, this team is a lot taller, and when you get that close to the net, you can't really shoot it.
Stephanie found that out the hard way there. Inbounds to Beeler, back to Kennedy. A good fake that drew Rymack's attention away. And now back up. Beeler Under pressure, almost turned it over, picked up by Tam. Finds Kennedy. Kennedy using the screen from Tam. Going to her left, fading away as she shot and put too much on it. Off glass and out. O'Neill to Rymack. She quickly leads Pockernick ahead. Pockernick underneath the net, kick out. Brown right around to O'Neill, open look, doesn't go, too much on it again. Mountaineers have been a little strong. It seems like it's not just one player. Everyone's shot's a little strong right now from the Mountaineers, and maybe, as you see it from both sides, it's part of that intensity that comes with playing in a game that's as important as this one.
Oh, for sure, but you could see the passing game got better there. It was a good setup for a play, just need to hit the net.
Martin, one of the key players offensively for this team, had it down low but turned it over. I think she was looking outside. Speaking of top players for the Saints right now, Shannon Kennedy, number 14, as we see Aaliyah Martin, who is one of them, substituting off. Shannon Kennedy's coming off a game where she played all 40 minutes in a loss to Fanshawe, but led the team with 23 points and 9 rebounds, almost a double-double. Aaliyah Martin, one of their better players, struggled to just 7 points. She's averaging now 10.2 a game. There's a shot from beyond from Pockernick, doesn't go. Riggin, the other way for the Saints, wide open break. She'll finish with the right hand. Very easy. And also another player to look at for the Saints, Nicole Tam, 23, down low. She's been involved early on the offensive end. There's Monica Batnick, open three, drill it. And the Mountaineers regain the lead quickly.
Now that's the way you come onto the court.
Good start from Monica. Hunter Johns and Jasmina Kucic set to rejoin her as they call is made over center for a over and back. Not agreeing as Andy Kiss. He felt like he saw quick motion over, and I'm not 100% sure he's wrong.
No, you got some fans disagreeing.
It was a little bit late, the call, we'll say that. But aside from that, Kiss will have his moment with the referee to explain, and either way, Mountaineer possession at center here, just past the midway point of the first quarter. O'Neill inside to Johns, down low, just outside the left block, kicks it up. Monica Batnick, Kucic, Pockernick, right back to Batnick, and she drills another three.
And that was some quick play, well thought out, and
now,
it worked.
Now Andy Kiss is really mad because that cost his team 3 points the other way. Now a turnover at center. Pockernick got it to Shannon O'Neill, who won that loose ball, couldn't go up and under strong enough. She just missed a great lay-in, and unfortunately the loose ball for the Saints slips out of their possession, and the Mountaineers will regain a fresh shot clock, and because of that, Kiss wants a timeout to slow things down for St. Clair, trailing 12-7 with 4:19 to go in the first quarter. And like I was saying, they blew their 4-game win streak in their last game against Fanshawe, losing 61-53 in a game that was very low scoring. The Mountaineers beat Fanshawe this year. Now these things often don't mean much, but the Mountaineers also beat St. Clair, and they beat them pretty handily. In that game, I believe the score was 74-47. It was almost a 30-plus point, well, just under 30-point victory for the Mountaineers. They really did walk into St. Clair and do whatever they wanted with the Saints.
Yeah.
Now, my opinion would be that this is going to turn out to be a much closer game, but the way that St. Clair fumbled the ball the last game against Fanshawe, the way Mountaineers not only took 2 against Cambrian, but then pretty handily walked over Sheridan at home, I would imagine the Mountaineers are set themselves up quite well to take over this game, and not only because they've got the home court advantage, but because they have all the momentum with how they've won and Fanshaw's lost. Or sorry, the Fanshawe lost from the Saints.
That was exactly what I was going to say. Mohawk has that momentum they've built. As we said, they're on a win streak, whereas the frustration has to be pretty intense on the St. Clair side because they said they lost that winning streak. And so coming in, they've got the frustration. They know how important this game is. So really, they got to get their head back in the game if they don't want to blow this lead. Lead in the standings, not in the game, as you can see by the scoreboard.
Well, they've already blown a couple leads in the game. And like you said, that loss to Fanshawe let the Mountaineers have this opportunity tonight. And Monica Batnick says, if you give me more opportunities like that, I will go 100 for 100 from beyond the arc. She starts 3 of 3.
She came to play.
15-7, 9-point first quarter for Batnick on 3 shots. That's the minimum way to get there. And there's a foul that was a very close call. Lots of pressure again from the Mountaineers right on the ball handler of the Saints as she hits half court. And due to that, they've almost forced another Saint turnover, something they did to the Bruins a heck of a lot earlier this week on Tuesday night. The Bruins had 23 first half turnovers in that game.
We've got Aaliyah Martin coming back into the game and getting the ball right off the bat.
And she's going to be important if they want to turn things around. Top Kennedy goes inside. Tam just lost the handle on it. Here comes Pockernick. Tries to slow things down, looking for Batnick. They have still not really put someone out on Batnick at the top. She's got another look, but she decides to pass it off. Inside on the block, given out to Shan O'Neill for a three. Just couldn't creep over the rim, but Johns gets the loose ball from Batnick, now feeds Kucic. Great passing.
That's the trick. They just kept finishing through. Do not give up on that ball until it goes the other way.
This is pretty disappointing, I think, for Andy Kiss. He does not look happy early on with the effort coming out of the timeout here. Some quick points for the Mountaineers since the Saints timeout. There's a turnover almost again from down low, but there's a chance blocked away against Martin by Johns. Martin got her chance down low, and Hunter Johns, who does have some size advantage, used her advantage to swat that one away and gets the possession back for the Mountaineers.
And we got Pockernick coming out of the game, being replaced by Rymack, coming up the court now.
Stephanie finds Shannon. Now Johns over to Batnick, and down low O'Neill. What movement by Shannon O'Neill to find space. Got kind of knocked out of her hands. She still won the ball. Gets around to Rymack. The open three doesn't go. Beeler trying to peel out of her own end, pressured by O'Neill immensely. What work by Shannon O'Neill, almost forcing a turnover. Martin. Good break though by the Saints. Martin.
Steph is not letting her through there.
Riggin to Beeler. Shot clock running under 5 seconds. They have to put it up now. Down low, Martin, what a play.
And they just make it. No, I think it's safe to say the Mountaineers are improving their defense game right now and making it a lot harder for those St. Clair women.
Batnick now to Kucic. There's Rymack off to the side, just short off front rim. Kucic battles hard, couldn't win the loose ball. Kennedy got there first. Possession goes the way of the Saints. So the Mountaineers lead early. They've had good pressure. Full court press has not exactly been applied like Kevin Duffy has usually used it, but we've seen some real good on the ball pressure, and the off the ball work has been probably just as good because it's really forced the Saints some tough passes, and those have led to those knocked loose balls and there you go again. I didn't even get to finish my point. More pressure and an extra dribble, and she's not happy with herself. That's Riley Welsh.
Yeah, you can see the disappointment on her face there.
Just a bit of a brain cramp coming up the court. Maybe I lulled her to sleep. I was lulling myself to sleep with my words.
That's okay, it happens a lot.
I would imagine so. Pockernick down low from Kucic. Wheels it up top. Steph Rymack, again, returned from injury. Getting more time already tonight. Clearly she's looking a lot and feeling a lot better. And she just missed that lay-in. So now Welsh, up the side, Martin. Works on Kucic, a nice dribble into the middle, but she's picked it up. Here's a pass off. Teammate cutting through the hole, doesn't get it to go, was Riggin. Loose ball rebounded by the Mountaineers, outletted to Batnick on the run, wide open, but she didn't get that layup to go. Kucic, though, tried and could not keep it in bounds. We'll see Carissa Brown substitute in for Monica now. St. Clair will inbound from underneath there. Net, a minute and a half to go in the first quarter of play. Riggin, down low, corner, open look, and nailing it is Tori Hanser, number 15 for the Saints, the third-year forward from Wallaceburg, Ontario. Brown, Kucic up top. Kucic trying to shake and bake Welsh. Driving, right hand, a little strong. Johns goes for the board, but went over the back.
You can see some aggression happening in there. Got people hitting the ground. But as you said, there's
continue.
I was gonna say there's about a minute left here for Mohawk. They've still got 6 points on St. Clair.
Hasn't been the most fluent offensive quarter for either side. Mountaineers still have the lead, but both teams have not had a lot of success with the ball in their possession, and that continues for the Saints. Martin's pass intended for Riggin right into the Mountaineer bench, and another turnover. 1:01 to play. Carissa Brown inbounds to Pockernick as we enter that final minute in the first quarter. Pockernick driving through the pressure, but probably had a few teammates she could have looked at there. Got it stripped out of her as she went up. Here's Beeler coming forward. Under pressure from Pockernick, strips it right back. Here comes Sam the other way. Opportunity on the run. Goes with the left hand, but it wheeled out.
Jakayla tried to go for the rebound there, but she didn't quite get her hand on the ball.
And so, a turnover now from the Mountaineers. Good defensive hustle from the Saints back on the play there on that fast break attempt. And that's been one of the better components for St. Clair in the first quarter. They've at least been hustling back on defense, which has helped keep the Mountaineers from having a whole lot of success, even though they've forced an immense amount of turnovers from the St. Clair offense, especially in the last 5 minutes of the quarter. Riggin, good little turnaround, and the jumper just rims out. Loose ball, and it will be a foul.
Got Brown down on the court.
And we're seeing two fouls called at the same time, Riley Welsh and also Karina Brown. And because of that, though, fouls will cancel each other out, and it will be Mountaineer possession with 19.2 to go in the quarter. No shot clock then for the Mountaineers. Pockernick carries forward, worked on by Beeler. Pockernick, Carissa Brown at the top to her sister Karina. Now to Pockernick off the screen. Going against Martin, inside to Dowse.
We got 5 seconds left in this game.
Dowse doesn't get it to
for
go.
the half.
Shot goes from Riggin, and it's no good, and the first quarter comes to an end with the Mountaineers ahead 17-11 on the St. Clair Saints in a very important matchup with third and second on the line in the OCAA Western Division. And what we've seen through one quarter, it's been a pretty tight game. And as we come to the end of one, we want to take a look at one of the top rookies for the Mohawk Mountaineers, Jasmina Kucic, who right now, to this point, is a leading rookie for the Mountaineers in points per game at 10. She's a 50% field goal percentage shooter, 50% three-point shooter, 62.5% from the line, as mentioned, coming into the game tonight. 5th for field goal percentage in all of the OCAA. Also was the leading rookie rebounder in the OCAA when it came to the end of the first half of the season at over 10 a game. This is one of the best rookies in the OCAA, somebody who you want to keep an eye on for the Mountaineers going forward. Also a key component, I imagine, if they want to have any success in the playoffs. And we look at a couple highlights from the first quarter of play, but part of Jasmina's game that's been so successful has been the rebounding. Another part of that helps having a Kucic and one of those players that goes along with her well down low in the paint would be a Monica Batnick, who we've seen have an immense night from actually outside in the early going of tonight.
She's not somebody that we usually see a whole lot of, but as you said, the minutes that she has played in this game have been very influential. But as you talked about Jasmina, she is someone that we count on time and time again to keep that strong offense and defense. She works hard on both fronts.
And Jasmina also not quiet in tonight's game, 2 of 2 from the line, 1 of 2 from the field with 4 points in that first quarter.
Again, no surprise.
No, not at all. Not a surprise when you see Kucic putting points on the board early. One of the things that we've noticed with the Mountaineers is that they have certain players they like to get started off on the right foot. But then again, that's why we always end up seeing different scorers, it seems, lead the team on each given night. That's why Duffy loves his spread-out offense.
Well, we use the term rookie to describe Jasmina Kucic, but she really isn't at this point. Duffy has said it as well. There are no rookies on the team. He likes to move people around. He likes to give everybody that opportunity. And that way, rather than having 1 or 2 main shooters, he has a whole team.
Mountaineers won't like what they shot first quarter. They shot 20%, 5 of 25 from the field. The Saints shot a little better at 26.3%, 5 of 19. But of course, the Saints turned it over 8 times in that first quarter. Mountaineers only twice, just couldn't make up a big lead or advantage thanks to the turnovers in that first quarter of play. Saints start with the ball, second quarter underway. Riggin with the shot clock winding down, takes a long-range shot. It does not go as the shooting woes continue for both sides, at least as we start the quarter. The Saints not improving their percentage anymore. Pockernick gives it and goes with Rymack right back. And now across it goes between the Brown sisters. Working on Martin is Carissa Brown into the hole, draws the foul.
And she tried to muscle through there, but not quite. The foul, hopefully she gets those in though.
Andy Kiss trying to deviate some strategy to his team on how to handle the quick playmaking and passing up at the top of the key, mainly for the Mountaineers in the early going of tonight's game. Been a lot of wheeling plays that take it from one angle to the other, and that has kind of split up the St. Clair defense, allowing that cut to the basket. And we've seen the Brown sisters use it to their advantage early on, but it opens up that three-point shot as we've seen in that first quarter as well. After an out-of-bounds play there, Carissa Brown now inbounding. Pockernick able to snag that rocket. Looked like a football pass from Carissa. There's Pockernick finding Rymack on the move in the corner, and a moving three just off rim, a little hard from Rymack. Back the other way, Saints on the move. Martin. Here's a little, attempt from Tam to go right by Douse. A trip seemed to happen on, maybe on both ends there, but Andy Kiss feels like there should have been a foul there with pretty distinctive feel to his words, as you can see and hear him coming into the mic.
Getting a little passion there, but
well,
I mean, it's a big game.
It's a big game, yes. Yes, it is. And that was a non-call from the referee, but a much better view than I think any of us on the court. Pockernick from the left side, drills a three there. Sam awakens in the second quarter, her first points of tonight's game.
That's the trick with Mohawk, is they may start slow, but as the game builds, they just get faster and faster.
Beeler, double team now in the corner, and the possession remains in favor of the Saints. Beeler under immense pressure there as she got over the half-court line. That's been something we've seen a lot from the Mountaineers in the first quarter, which led, I think, obviously to most of those 8 turnovers. And the Mountaineers have had a lot of success forcing turnovers. Their defense has been one of the top defenses across the board in the OCAA this season. Down low, though, an offensive board and put back on the turnaround jumper from Kennedy.
Now, that's the trick. With that defense, they need to put just as much pressure as they do on the offense and not give up.
O'Neal whips it around. Rymack inside for Johns, tipped away, but Beeler tried to tip it forward. Ended up being a good play to Riggin. Riggin, pull-up jumper on the run, though, short. Good offensive board from Martin. Martin, turnaround jumper doesn't go. Beeler's going to get called for an offensive foul on the push-off on Rymack. And there's starting to become a bit of frustration with the Saints, it seems, on the offensive end. They've had a few offensive fouls called against them. The Mountaineers just outworking them, getting their feet set in right position. Good work from the Mountaineers early, frustrating those Saints.
Now you've got to hope for St. Clair that they can pull it back together and lose that frustration, because as soon as they're not paying attention to what's actually important in the game, they're going to lose it.
Johns outside, O'Neal open three from the corner, just a little strong. Riggin the defensive board, chased by O'Neal. O'Neal reached out, she can't believe it. And I don't believe either that I saw a whole lot of contact on the play, but the referees trying to keep this game under wraps, because there is, well, I mean, there's a lot on the line, which has created a bit of the tension and aggression, as you said, and it's also creating a bit of a frustration on both sides when things aren't working, as the shots haven't been for both sides early. There's a chance down low from Martin. She missed. Almost a strip down low from Kennedy on Kucic, but she remains in possession, and now Pockernick leading the attack. A cross-court pass, O'Neal. Sets up Batnick at the top, goes inside to Jasmina Kucic. Kucic turns off rim,
not
short.
quite high enough.
And like you said, the shots are just not falling right now for either side. It's been a really rough start. Here's a drive, though, and a good little dip and hook from Tam.
That's bringing St. Clair up to 15, only 6 points behind the Mohawk Mountaineers.
2-possession game now, but Pockernick outside look, just a little strong again. Tam finds Kennedy. Kennedy works it forward with some space. Kennedy to the left hand, dribbling left side in the corner. Martin tries to go up against 2 Mountaineers and unfortunately hit the bottom of the backboard there. Now we have Tam on a turnover there that looked like the Mountaineers almost were moving in slow motion. And then a big-time block out of bounds, down low by Jasmina Kucic to turn away the attempt. And some substitutions from the Saints with 6:51 to go. Things looked like they did slow down there and almost went in pause for the Mountaineers as they tried to break out. And because of it, they turned things over. Here's an open look off the inbound. Shot just wouldn't go down for Elena Caldarelli, but the rebound is picked up on the offensive end and put back by Tori Hanser.
I don't know what the St. Clair coach said to them over that quarter break, but it's gotten them moving again. We think we have a game here.
Johns outside O'Neal. Pockernick inside now Kucic. Quick passing from the Mountaineers, and O'Neal, great movement, finds herself open, but again, just a little strong. Great follow-up on her shot, but blocked away. Kennedy right in her face. Now the run the other way. Beeler beats the block attempt, earns the call. It gets a lot of congratulations on the work ethic from her coach there, going end to end. She's played most of this early game, So give her credit for the extra effort there at the end of a long series of play. And we will see a timeout from the Mohawk Mountaineers. The Saints will go to the line trying to cut it down under 4. The lead has definitely shrunk, but again, 6:17 to go second quarter. It's only 21-17. There's barely been any points scored, so it's been one of the lower offensive games that we've seen. Again, the Mountaineers very good defensively, but
well, as you said, they're getting slow. You can see it. You can see with that pass, Hunter Johns trying to get it up the court, but they're not making it. They're not doing the completion. I think they need to take that extra second, look at where they're passing it, and send it to the right person, because that's not happening.
And right now, with a 4-point lead and the timeout called, I would imagine one of the few things Duffy will lay out to his team during this timeout break, as you take a look in on the huddle of the Mountaineers right now, is that they just need to pick up the intensity they had in the first quarter. They started to pull away, it almost felt like, towards the end.
You saw the drive at first, and yeah, as you said, Bennett was gone. And it's hard because it's not like there hasn't been shots. The shots have been happening, but they're not landing where they need to be.
And unfortunately, because of that, it seems like, as we mentioned for the Saints side, just equally for the Mountaineers, the frustration setting in a bit. I think Duffy wanted to slow things down, remind his team things are not working right now, but they will pick up if we continue to put ourselves in the right positions for those shots. I imagine right now Duffy just wants to keep his team level-headed, as Andy Kiss, you said, did in the last timeout, which has seemed to turn around the Saints.
Well, and part of the problem, I think, Duffy, as we said, he talked about the importance of pace, and he's saying everything needs to be quick, but you can only make it quick if you're making it work. And if it's not making it work, you need to take that extra second to regroup.
Saints get 1 of 2 from the line as Beeler cuts the deficit to 1 possession at 21-18. Batnick, oh, she had an open look.
Oh, I was waiting for her to get that one. She has been making those shots.
It was looking good from beyond, but there's a pass down low, just missed by Parkinick on the attempted steal, but Beeler just misses down low as well. Kucic the other way now to Batnick, cutting around her, but a great kick out pass to Rymack, but her shot doesn't go. She wanted the call, as she was bumped by Hanser at the top and then run over by Hanser on the way by now. Here comes Reagan cutting through, tried to dish out, but there's Rymack, somehow got back on the play.
You can't stop her.
Stephanie appears. Parkinick, there's Rymack with the 3, just a little short. Parkinick, the board, goes up strong, can't get that to go. Nothing will fall for the Mountaineers early. Reagan wants to slow things down a bit now, nearing the midway point of the second quarter. Still 21-18, a very low-scoring affair, and Reagan gets the floater to go. Didn't look like much early on in that play. She just kind of floated around the key and found her way.
Mohawk needs to step it up. There's only 1 point separating these teams right now as we are finishing up this first half here.
There's an open look from Parkinick. Doesn't go again. The Mountaineers have missed their last 9 shots. Nothing has gone in the past 3 minutes for the Mohawk Mountaineers. This has been an awful time to lose confidence offensively. Open look there. Doesn't go for Kenny. Follows her own board up. Almost had it. That was some bad box out, but the Mountaineers escape unharmed.
You got Kucic trying to take it into her own hands.
And almost a block. You can see the sideline stood up. Phil Melanis had something he was about to mouth to the referee. He was able to hold himself back, but he had maybe some, right set of mind there to hold it back, because right now in a game like this, the referees are kind of weary of one of those explosions and looking for maybe a technical.
Yeah, and that's something you don't want to do, is tick off the ref early on.
Although that was a very close call, and I can see why Phil got up, because Kucic, albeit she earns the call here, goes the line for the Mountaineers for 2, shooting just above, as we mentioned, 63% with her 2 for 2 earlier on in the game. Doesn't get that one to go. That was a close play, and Hanser did have her hand on the ball when the call was made. Second for Kucic goes from the line. She's now 3 of 4 in tonight's game. Tequila Douse substituting in for Jasmina, but Andy Kiss before that calls a timeout as he wants to regroup for the St. Clair Saints, who have cut the deficit all the way down to 2 points here at the David Braley Athletics and Recreation Center on Mohawk College campus. If you're watching on M-Link, thanks for joining us. Nick Birnie alongside Christine Midgley. It hasn't been what we expected offensively, but if we had to kind of go over what you would expect from a game of this magnitude, I imagine a tougher defensive output and maybe a few occasional, let's say, frustration along with maybe a little bit of aggravation from the fact that this is a really anxiety-filled game. Pressure's on here.
Well, it is. As we said before, you're playing for second place at this point. If you can get that bye week, that is so important. You get that extra week to prepare for the playoffs, whereas other people are going to be exhausted going from game to game. Now, we're not seeing the kind of playing that we expect from our Mohawk Mountaineers. We'll see if they can turn it around once we hit that second half, because I feel that is usually when they come back into play. But we'll see what happens. You've got St. Clair, looks like they've got the fire back in them.
So really, right now the question for the Mountaineers is can they
get it in the net?
Well, can they sink some shots would be an easy question to ask.
Yeah.
But right now, can they create easier shots, I was going to say, would probably be the best case scenario. The way that things haven't gone for them from outside and beyond the arc has really just been an awful start for them today. They probably should start looking towards the net more. And like Kucic on the last series, try to earn those fouls in close. Here's a drive that was turned away in the corner. St. Clair remains in possession, trailing by just 2 points. That one doesn't go for the Saints, and back the other way come the Mountaineers now. O'Neill to Douse. Douse working on Welsh. Douse inside, great turnaround. The left hand doesn't go off rim, but the rebound by Hanser, battling with Carissa Brown. Beeler quickly met by Rymack at half court. Gets by her, then met by two other Mountaineers, and the three of them are able to steal it. Monica Batnick able to knock that intended pass inside for Hanser away. There's a turnover, though, as Tam steals the intended Batnick pass. Her pass through the hands of Welsh. Loose on the floor. What a play by Beeler. Knocks it off of Rymack while she had almost no way of keeping her balance. That was a terrific play by the St. Guard. And now we'll see Kennedy sub back in. Hanser sub off. 3:48 to play second quarter. Martin on the court, joined by Kennedy, Beeler, Tam, and Welsh. Driving to her left, Kennedy just coming on, and she's even the game at 22 with that bank shot off the window. Rymack to Batnick. Mountaineers haven't scored in over 4 minutes of play in this second quarter.
It's now a tie game.
They have not scored, or excuse me, the Kucic points, they have not scored in over 4 minutes in play in the quarter.
And Shannon
minus
couldn't quite
that
get
Kucic
it.
free throw, and as you say, Shannon unable to get that one to go. Down low, Martin fouled on the way to the hoop, and now the St. Clair Saints have a chance to take a lead.
Rymack looking like she doesn't know what's going on.
She is pretty mad right now, pretty confused at what's going on with her teammates and herself, and the shots have not fallen for the Mountaineers. The St. Clair Saints have slowly but surely peeled themselves back into a tie and now can take their first lead since the opening quarter. However, Martin unable to hit on the first shot. She's a 71.4 free throw percentage shooter coming into tonight's action. One of the more reliable Saints from the line. She misses both, but Welsh the offensive board. Tam, open look, pops off rim, down low. Ball battled by the two guards, Rymack and Martin. Rymack wins the loose ball, but the possession will actually, go for Rymack after the call is against Martin on a foul, not a jump ball.
No, and Martin was not happy about that. She was right in the ref's face, pleading
Martin,
for that call to be overturned.
As you said, because of how heated she got, I think a time for Kiss to pull her off here and give Reagan a chance to come on for the final 3 minutes possibly, just to let Martin cool down a bit on the sideline. Douse in the corner, whips it out across. Rymack with three running at her. Couldn't get it to go, just a little strong. Outlet pass for Reagan. Chased down by Brown. Swatted away, but she got some contact. Pretty clear there. And Reagan can go to the line shooting two. Tie game at 22 apiece. And from what I've seen thus far, it looks like the Mountaineers have really just been shook almost by the level of this game and the fact that things aren't working. It's all piling up on them, and they have not scored, as said, in play for over 5 minutes. They have only gotten one free throw point from Desmina Kucic, and that excluding the first 4 points of the quarter. They've scored 5 points the entire second quarter right now.
I think this is kind of a reality check for the Mountaineers. I mean, they've been on the win streak, but even looking at the last game they played, they won by so many points. I don't know if they were expecting St. Clair to come out and be this much of a challenge.
And there, almost a turnover from the Mountaineers offensively. They're trying to catch up now to the Saints, who have a 2-point advantage. Shannon O'Neill will substitute in for Steph Rymack, who had herself a pretty solid run out there here. In those past 5 minutes, she didn't help offensively a whole lot as her shots wouldn't fall, but she was giving it a lot of effort. Ended up on the court plenty of times. Pockernick from the corner, much too strong on the shot. Douse, though, with the offensive board, can't get it to go too strong. Loose ball, Shannon unable to grab it. Might have committed the foul there over the back of Walsh. If not, they're just going to call it out of bounds, which would be helpful for the Mountaineers, keep them out of foul trouble here. Both teams are at 4 and 1 away from the penalty, with still just under now 2.5 to play in the first half. Tam, Riggin, met by O'Neill. Now Beeler inside. Welsh. Kennedy open. Look from 3. Just short off front rim. Pockernick the board. Pockernick on the run. She's looking cross court. She wanted Krista Brown. She goes shorter to O'Neill. Now finds Brown. Brown making her move on Beeler to Douse. Douse wants to take Kennedy. Now she looks for a pass. Pockernick on the way across. Working on Reagan, reaching from Reagan, called on the foul.
There's no easy route into the net at that point. As I said, St. Clair are playing a very strong defensive game.
There really have been no easy avenues to the basket tonight for the Mountaineers, but that foul, because as we mentioned, putting St. Clair now on the 5 spot and in the penalty, the Mountaineers get to go to the line every time they are fouled towards the end of this quarter, including this trip from Pockernick, where she makes the first of 2 and cuts the deficit down to 1. Pockernick, a 70% bang-on free throw shooter, coming into tonight's action.
And just like that, she evens it up.
And in a way, the Mountaineers, though, still need to figure out how they're going to score against this team without going to the line. They have not scored since the first 3 minutes of this quarter in play. No. They have 3 points from the free throw line from Jasmina Kucic and now Pockernick since those first 3 minutes have passed by.
I mean, the fouls are nice to get a couple extra points, but you can't rely on that solely for your entire game.
Now Tam throws that pass away after a bit of a collision underneath the basket, forces a St. Clair player and a Mountaineer player to the floor. And after that turnover, the Mountaineers with a chance to regain the advantage. Pockernick, O'Neill, back to Pockernick, inside on the low block. Karina Brown finds her sister Carissa, and there you go.
See, you just needed the twins. The twins will bring it in.
Just needed a little family magic. Kennedy, little handoff pass, Tam the other way. Now Riggin, though, met by 2 Mountaineers. Loose ball. Call goes the way of the Saints. And we'll take a look at this replay here. Mountaineers
there you go. You
finally getting on the
Brown
board.
To Brown, right into the net.
As you said, took them long enough, but maybe a little sister magic working things out there. There's another unfortunate missed opportunity for a turnover underneath the basket as the Saints will keep possession, but that allows the substitution of Jasmina Kucic for Kevin Duffy. 1:13 remains in the first half of play. A low-scoring first half. 50 points right now between the 2 teams combined. Mohawk ahead 2 points. The shot does not go from Kennedy. Kucic on the run. Finds O'Neill. O'Neill against Reagan. Lost possession for a second. Regains it. Up top, Pockernick thought about it. Finds Carissa Brown. An open look from the side. Buries it. Carissa Brown.
There we go. You see, we just needed them to bring life back into the team.
Carissa Brown from beyond the arc.
Now
she shoots just 11% on the year. We'll up that, and they'll take another look. That's actually that shot down low as we take another look at the other replay. But Carissa Brown has scored 2 in a row. And there, O'Neill taking the outlet pass after St. Clair able to get their first points in a few minutes here. But there's a shot that's just a little short from Brown.
And Jacayla finishes. Now there's less than 30 seconds left in this half.
See what the Saints can do, but Mohawk almost forced a turnover there.
They're coming back alive. It's nice to see, but not. I mean, they have to get that earlier in the quarter next time.
31-26. Beeler. Shot clock still on, and a foul called at center. O'Neill can't believe it, and Duffy won't like it. It puts the Mohawk Mountaineers in the penalty as of now. O'Neill complains the hands are up. I have to agree. Some of the calls have been tight, but it's in order to keep this game from getting out of hand because there's been a lot of frustration, especially considering these 2 teams have not scored a lot. 57 points between the 2 of them. And with 19.2 seconds to go, the Saints have a chance to cut it back down to a possession game. First shot, though, rimming out here.
Now you saw Duffy, he had a little huddle with his team trying to give them some motivation to finish these last 19 seconds. Hopefully they finish strong.
Beeler, 30% free throw shooter, able to make 1 of 2. She struggled from the line. Shot clock off, as you mentioned, last possession.
10 seconds left in the half.
Here's Kuchin, swatted away by Tam. Loose ball foul by Douse, a silly foul. And now an easy 2 points can be picked up with 6 seconds by the St. Clair Saints. Not a good foul. On the other end of the court, though, when your team, already up by 4 points, is in the penalty, and there's no reason to attack the player when she's so far away from the net and had such a ways to go, but now an easy opportunity, and she makes the first. Shooting from the line is Tam. Tam not only averages 10.1 points per game, but 68.5% free throw shooter coming in, makes both. It's now a 31-29 point lead. Oh, a turnover again. Reagan almost has it, keeps it in. Beeler, second left.
That's it.
And the clock will wind out as she loses it out of bounds. St. Clair had a chance to take a lead almost, if not tie it. Couldn't do that. But what an interesting first half of play we've had for you from the David Braley Athletics and Recreation Center on Mohawk College campus. 31-29, the score at the end of one half of play. Only 60 points between the two teams combined, Christine.
Now that is ridiculous. That's not the game we expected at all. As we said, last time they played, Mohawk won 74-47. That's almost 30 points there. And now look at the score here. They've only scored 30 points, period. They're 2 points apart.
And you know what? It'll be a tough task to get and catch up to those numbers by the end of this one. We need a big scoring second half.
Well, let's take a look at some of the plays that we had that went for the Mohawk Mountaineers.
And we will take a look at these highlights. And as we take a look at these highlights, we will also leave you with them. So we go to break, and we'll come back with the second half of action between the St. Clair Saints and Mohawk Mountaineers live on M-Link. Nick Birnie and Christine Midgley. Stay tuned. Welcome back inside the David Bray Athletics and Recreation Center. The first half intermission has come to a conclusion. The second half of play is ready to begin. Nick Birnie alongside Christine Midgley. And tonight we have not seen the offense show up for either side. 31-29 through one half of play, 60 points split between the two teams almost right down the middle. A very tight game though, as expected, between second and third in the OCAA West. And it starts with the Mountaineers coming out with the first 2 points of the second half. Hunter Johns, an easy turnaround jumper.
I talked to Duffy over the break. I'm glad that we got that shot right off the bat. That's kind of the goal, is making more shots. I know we joked about it, is the whole goal is to get the ball in the net, but that really has been the struggle for Mohawk.
Almost a turnover forced by the Mountaineers, something they did well in the first half, but Beeler rides through the court, almost able to get the runner in the lane to go. It was pretty easy how she got in there, but she's unable to get the open look to fall, and the Mountaineers have a chance to extend this lead now. Rymack. Carissa Brown at the top, looks inside, Kucic battling, finds a kick out pass to Pakernick, and all of a sudden the offensive three in the key on the Mountaineers is called. 4-point deficit as the Mountaineers have the only 2 points very early in this third quarter of play. Tam to Martin, now Kennedy. Kennedy, long range look does not go. She played the entire 40 minutes in their loss to Fanshawe in their most previous action. Something we'll take a look at further in between the third and fourth quarters. There's a shot from Rymack that doesn't go. The loose ball ends up still underneath the basket for Johns. Her turnaround doesn't go either. Tam, the loose ball rebound.
And Duffy wanted to see more set shots, taking the time to actually make sure they would have to follow through, and they're not.
It hasn't shown up early in the third quarter, but Kennedy can't seem to get her shot to go either. Great offensive board down low by the much smaller Riggin. Her shot doesn't go, but a foul on the loose ball called, and it's against Stephanie Rymack. We're going to get a push off here, and that will allow the Saints a fresh 14-second shot clock and a chance for their first point still here in the third quarter. O'Neill subs on for Rymack early. As Duffy makes a move.
You can see Steph shaking her head all the way off the court. You can even hear her say, "I didn't." So she clearly thought she didn't do the foul and wasn't very happy with that call.
And with Rymack getting that call, there's a shot that goes up quick from the Saints. Martin, it doesn't go. Loose ball rolls all the way out to the top of the free throw line. Kucic picks it up, finds Pakernick on the move. Pakernick to O'Neill, open look from three, drill it. Still was a hand in the face even, and she still knocked it down. Shannon O'Neill, those are her first 3 points of the night after a scoreless first half. Reagan finds Martin. Martin inside. Kennedy working, backing down, going to the left against Kucic, and Kucic reached in. And then Kennedy falling to the floor pretty hard, but she looks all right. Been a lot of body contact, a physical game, much to be expected. It's got a playoff type atmosphere, and therefore that's why we had a playoff type defensive attitude from both teams in the first half, which completely shut each other down. So it's not exactly been an awful game. It's just the defense has been so good, as you've mentioned multiple times, Christine, as the Mohawk attack has been stifled by lanes shut down every which way and when.
Okay, well, I mean, I talked to Kiss over the halftime too, and he was saying he came into this game expecting it to be a battle. He knows what to expect from Kevin Duffy and the Mountaineers. He actually described the Mountaineers as being scrappy. So I think we're seeing a bit of that right now.
It's a good way to get described, I imagine, and Kucic down low puts in the easy lay-in. So the Mountaineers offense has clicked a little bit here in the early going of the third quarter. Better than that of the Saints thus far. Martin inside. Kennedy dribbles it off the foot of O'Neill, or excuse me, that was Tam, still finds a loose ball, battling still with it is Tam. Couldn't quite gain possession.
But she still hung on to it that whole time.
And she was surrounded by 4 white jerseys by the time she got herself up off the court. So the Mountaineers came over to help their teammate O'Neill in the cause there, but possession goes the way of the Saints. 7 on the shot clock. Duffy, you can hear him. He just said exactly what I said, but he's letting his team know. We're just letting you at home know. Martin, though, that pass went off a hand still. She picked it up in full stride and lays it in. First real easy bucket we've seen in this game, surrendered by both sides. Pockenik, her pass off a hand, stolen by Martin. Then she had it almost knocked away by O'Neill at center court. She battles with both Pockenik and O'Neill, fighting through.
She got it out.
And fine hands are going to the net, blocked away by the underside of the net. Loose ball goes out of bounds. Substitutions will come from the Mountaineers, but the call is St. Clair possession. Hanser felt she was fouled on the way. Just good defense, though, staying with her to the basket by Jasmina Kucic, who is substituted off as part of 3 subs for the Mountaineers. Batnick, Douse, and Karina Brown hit the court for Mohawk. Tam, cross-court pass, Beeler. Beeler decides to go up for it with a hand in her face, and it came up short. The attempt from Kennedy was there to keep it in, but she stepped on the baseline. So early on, a little bit better in terms of the offensive output from both teams in the quarter, but not a whole lot. 38-33 is our score. 7-4, the Mountaineers have outscored the Saints in the early going of this quarter. There's a turnover again. Kennedy to Martin on the run. Beeler pulls up. The deuce doesn't go. Loose ball picked up by Beeler. Her pass off a hand, stolen by Pockenik. Could she keep control? No, but the foul is called against the Saints. Still, sloppy basketball has dominated this one. Defense has been so good from either side. The offense have just looked really, I guess sloppy is the best word, not dangerous at all.
No, well, I mean, you said defense has been on point. That's been Kiss's focus. He said that he was focusing on more zone coverage going into this next half here, because that's what's been working. And
clearly it has kept up working. That, though, not working for the Mountaineers. An easy 2-on-1, and it leads to an easy lay-in. So, lead cut down again by the Saints. They're getting a little closer, like they did midway through a second quarter where the Mountaineers struggled to score, and they've missed 2 straight threes on back-to-back possessions again. Here's a rush from Martin. Felt like she drew the foul, did not get the call, did not make the shot. Good body work by Batnick to stand her ground. She feeds ahead to Pockenik, who looks inside. Carissa Brown, kick out, O'Neill. An up fake. Now a great pass to Douse, but she couldn't get the easy lay-in to fall, and the loose ball is knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Mountaineer. 3-point game, and the Mountaineers offense starting to sputter. 3 straight possessions where they can't get the open look to go. 2 threes and a look inside from Douse that have failed them.
Now Duffy wanted to see more of an attack on the front of the court, but it's really not. It's not working out. It's been, as you said, kind of incomplete passes and not very well set shots.
And they're
unlike that.
I was going to say, much unlike the shot we just saw from Tam. Wide open underneath again were the Saints. That's 3 straight possessions. The Saints have had easier looks at the basket, something Duffy does not appreciate at all. That, though, he does. 3 from the corner, Shannon O'Neill. Second 3-pointer of the quarter for Shannon. That has supplied her with all 6 of her points. Big turnover, Batnick the block, Pockenik to the rim. Sam leans in and gets the hard lay-in against the body of I believe it's Hanser, and that could spark the Mountaineers here. A couple quick baskets. 6-point advantage. Back the other way, blocked away. Douse got her hand all over the Caldarelli lay-in. Much too light from Caldarelli, and the Mountaineers, after sputtering for just a moment, turn it right back on with 4:44 now remaining in the third quarter. Big moment in this game. 6-point lead. Can they really stop the Saints and put a real jolt to their offense here? Here's a chance for Hanser, knocked away. Still, no, the call is Mountaineer possession. Kiss does not like it at all.
He is not happy about that. You can probably hear him through our monitors.
He's clearly making it known that he felt it was last touched by White. O'Neill, though, has a smile with the referee. She's saying, oh no, it was definitely green. Or at least I would imagine.
Of course she's going to say that, though, because she's going to want the ball.
I would hope so. Rymack to Batnick. Again, chance for the Mountaineers to really expand this lead and start to really build momentum till Shannon's pass went to the non-7-foot Stephanie Rymack, still listed at her current, I believe it's 5 foot. I'm taking a look. I don't want to get it wrong. 5'4". That one into the second row, though. There's a pass down low. Tam found Hanser. The foul goes against the Mountaineers. St. Clair can maybe slowly put an end to this momentum building by the Mohawk Mountaineers that has taken place over the last minute and a half, 2 minutes here. And it seems to be like this game won't allow both teams to take advantage for too long and gain that lead. Now, the St. Clair Saints really haven't had a big lead in this game. The Mountaineers have opened up a lead in the second quarter and then had the gap closed. They've opened up again a lead in the third quarter. This is where they kind of let the gap close in the second quarter. Can they avoid that here is the real question.
And see, that's really the opposite of the way you want to play it. If you're losing that momentum towards the end of the quarter, by the end of the game, you're going to not be in a very good position.
Very true. Rymack to O'Neill. Hands her, by the way, that 65% shooter, made both from the line. Big shots from the Saints, cutting the deficit to 4. Rymack off the screen with a quick shot. Doesn't go, pops off rim. Still, things have not worked as well as the Mountaineers have hoped offensively tonight. Tam, the pressure is on for the Mountaineers. Kennedy decides to spot up a long-range 3 and drills it. Suddenly a 1-point game now, as Kennedy able to hit from way out. Take another look at that 3 right in the face. And there, though, back the other way, the Mountaineers, as we were showing you the replay, able to answer with a 3 of their own and regain the 4-point advantage. 46-42, and a timeout will come after a turnover. And I think they're asking for a why we paused there and got a little bit confused, sorry, was the assistant coach Phil Milanis came over to our table, because sometimes people will get confused, think we're the scorers.
We don't really have a lot of control.
We don't have a lot
here.
of the cables where the scorers are linked up to us, so, but he was asking for a change of the score, so St. Clair looking to double check what the score line should be. The Mountaineers trying to score inside while Kucic turned it over. And right now with 3:22 to play in the third quarter, the Mountaineers lead remains currently 46-42. Hanser inbounds. Beeler looks for Martin under pressure, but the St. Clair Saints break that full court press with ease. Tam working against Johns. Bit of a handoff to Kennedy off the screen. Worked hard by Brown. Wanted the shot. Looks inside. Down low Martin. Nice kick out. Hanser. Nice little move to open up a shot. Doesn't make it though. Open look again. Missed by the Saints. Carissa Brown now to Sam Pockernick. Pockernick. Rymack trying to beat Hanser, her fellow 15 off the dribble. Couldn't. Hanser used that bigger frame to her advantage. Beeler. Lots of pace to this one now. Martin inside, goes up for the shot, too short.
Yeah.
Kucic running the court, feeds Rymack for 3, doesn't go. Kennedy knocked down inside as she grabbed the board. They're gonna wave off the score. Duffy cannot believe it. To at least Duffy's opinion, she definitely was not bumped by a Mountaineer, or at least bumped hard enough by a Mountaineer to draw that call, and Kucic's basket waved off.
Regardless, the refs are in charge of the game, and I mean, there's only so much you can do. You have to brush it off and keep fighting. And
they do have the closer look on that play. He jumped on it, did not hesitate to make that call. Beeler, Tam, guarded tough by Hunter Johns, right on her. Great defense by Johns. Now Kucic with a steal, working against Welsh on the run. Kucic gets the call and 1.
See, she needed to get those points back. It worked out in the end.
And what a finish under pressure. Welsh, though, did not need to foul. That was a bad decision. Here's a great look from our camera angle underneath.
Beautiful.
Kucic literally cut right in front of our cameraman, I believe, on that one. Great job of getting the angle. So thanks to our crew for that. And also great finish by Jasmina with all that pressure on her from behind.
And there's another one for her.
And Jasmina finishes it off with a 3-point play. Yeah, the classic style of 3-point play. Like back in the old days when there were no 3-point lines, which I am not from, I promise.
You are not that old.
No, and I don't really wish I was either. So we're gonna end that conversation right there as Jacayla Dowse is substituted in. And Jacayla, I have got your name right every time tonight. I just want her to know.
I'm impressed. She's going to be very proud of you.
I'm impressing myself slightly with this. 2:16 to play for the third quarter right now. 4-point lead has been stretched now to 7, although now Tam from the line for the Saints, able to make the first. She will be able to try and cut this back down here a bit for the visiting Saints, who are still, as mentioned by Christine and myself, in second place at the start of tonight, but that loss to Fanshawe really cost them because the Mountaineers caught up a full game and gave themselves a chance to surpass them tonight, and they're doing the job thus far. Douse down low, doesn't get it to go over Tam. Rushing back the other way, Beeler guarded hard by Rymack, ran into a wall as Carissa Brown stood her ground, and somehow to Brown's dismay, I was going to say delight, I don't know why, but to Carissa Brown's dismay, the call is made. And she's going to get substituted after picking up the personal foul.
We've got O'Neill and Batnick, and your other Brown coming back into the game.
Sister Karina joining Douse, Pockernick, as you mentioned, Batnick and O'Neill on the court. For the Saints, Welsh, Tam at the line shooting right now, Beeler, who makes the first, and then also Kennedy, who will take a little bit of a look at a little more in-depth in the middle of this break between third and fourth quarter, and on the court Caldarelli closer to the bench. There's a miss, though, on the second opportunity from Tam from the line. Batnick the board, outlets for O'Neill. Working on Kenny to the right. Drop off to Karina, looked inside to Douse, got the call. Great passing. Mountaineers up off the bench, they love that kind of playmaking. Terrific fast passing and great footwork to be moving around like that, and great cut to the net by Douse.
I told you, that's what Duffy wanted to focus on. He wanted those quick feet, and he wanted those sharp passes. So we'll see if Douse can get these next couple points here.
Douse from the line, as you mentioned, and she's unfortunately unable to make the first. Douse currently has not had 3 games right now in the second semester, not a whole lot under her belt in terms of even getting to the line, but she's only shooting 38% currently, and unfortunately will lower those stats with a pair of misses here, and almost able to steal it back was Karina Brown, the veteran, but the ball just off her fingertips and out of bounds. 4-point game coming to the end of the third quarter. No team has been able to really stretch the lead and take advantage. And now an 8-second violation on Kennedy, who took just that long, 1 second possibly too long, to get that pass across center to Martin. Batnick to inbounds. A turnover here that can help the Mountaineers extend the lead. They just missed a chance from the line as Douse missed both free throws. Pockernick. Nice catch and move towards the middle, driving but couldn't get it to go. Douse, the offensive board, says this is better.
She finishes it.
She doesn't like the line. She prefers right under the basket.
Hey, you know what? As long as it goes in, who really cares?
I don't think Duffy will. Beeler the other way, Saints trying to answer back. Inside pass was dangerous, still picked up by Welsh, and she'll get a call on Karina Brown, who has no idea how they made that one against her. She had put her hands straight up, set her feet, but Welsh, who looked maybe a little out of control, does earn the call, will go to the line. And for Welsh, currently, Riley, 44% from the line, not a clutch free throw shooter, we'll say. One that not to be rude, but could use a little more practice at the line, and shows on the first going off left. She only does average above 3 points per game by quite a little bit, 3.2, so not a huge time score for the Saints thus far this year, but a chance to cut this deficit down. Second goes from the line, much nicer from Riley, and that cuts the deficit to 5. Welsh, part of some substitutions here. Caldarelli will come off to the sideline as well. Riggin joining. Tam, Hanser, Beeler, and Kennedy on the court, the 5 Saints. Pockernick, O'Neill, Douse, Karina Brown, and Monica Batnick, the 5 Mountaineers, for the final minute of the third quarter. 5-point advantage as mentioned. Pockernick swings it around. Batnick wants it. Oh my goodness, what was that? I don't think she decided, quite frankly, to the very end. Still great passing by the Mountaineers. Almost.
Not quite good enough, though. Now we're under a minute left. We're going to see if St. Clair can pull off, evening out the score.
It's going to be tough on them to cut into this deficit. They've been trying all quarter, but they have done a pretty good job of staking pace. Here's a shot. Oh, didn't quite get the look she wanted, and because it misses the net completely, shot clock violation against the Mountaineers. So from the baseline, Hanser finds Beeler, and now Tam. Tam at center. Really met by 3 Mountaineers. O'Neill with the pick. Spin move by O'Neill. Oh my God! How do you hit that? I don't think she saw the basket as she let that one go. Greatest shot I've ever seen, maybe. Maybe.
Beautiful.
A little special.
Let's take a look at that shot again.
We have to. Oh my goodness, Shannon O'Neill, what a finger roll. And back the other way, the Saints with an offensive foul. What a job by Karina Brown who has not had things go her way on the defensive end. She's really found herself in the right position. Great feet set on most occasions. Gets some love there, earning the offensive foul call against St. Clair.
There are 23.1 seconds left in the quarter here.
And that means the shot clock off.
And it goes to Batnick.
Down low, what a pass to Brown, almost able to finish the give and go. Kennedy.
10 seconds left in this quarter.
Tam to Riggin, and a foul.
Duffy's calling for the travel.
Duffy wanted the travel call, but unfortunately he's not wearing the right shirt for that job. And because of that, the foul called against the Mountaineers, and because they are in the penalty, unfortunately, easy buckets again is the opportunity presenting itself to the St. Clair Saints at the end of a quarter. And Duffy is not happy with that outcome. Especially not when you have a pretty solid free throw shooter like Tam hitting the line, who shoots 68.5% coming into tonight's game and has done a pretty solid job at the line herself today. She makes both as well. With 8 seconds left, Carissa Brown will come on. Shannon comes off. That's Shannon O'Neill. 5-point lead right now. Final 8 seconds of the third quarter.
It's close. This game is going to go right down to the wire.
Well, the fourth quarter will be very interesting as we bring to you the end of the third with the Mountaineers seemingly going to go to the line now is Sam Pockernick with just 3.4. And you can see Andy Kiss with a real tough look on his face after that foul. They had just been handed 2 easy points the same manner. And right there, his team hands them right back. Sam Pockernick, a very good free throw shooter, and she buries the first from the line as we expect from
And you
Sam.
saw Duffy bringing in his team, regrouping them for that last 3.4 seconds, seeing if we can get a little more out of the Mountaineers in this quarter.
70% free throw shooter coming in. She does miss that one. Good offensive board, a chance for a point here. And Douse couldn't get it to go. She did have a couple teammates open. She wanted to go up strong with it. Unfortunately, didn't get it to fall. 54-48, 6-point lead. We're going to take a look, though, as we come to the end of the third quarter, at a visiting player profile. We did look at one of our Mountaineers in the first half, or at the end of the first quarter. Here at the end of the third quarter, Shannon Kennedy, number 14. And she averages 18.4 points per game. Christine, 41.3% field goal shooter. Not the greatest from beyond the arc at 39% roughly, but third in field goals across the OCAA, fourth in three-point percentage, and fifth overall in three-point percentage. So I imagine, like we said, what a key component she's got to be to this team.
Well, the thing with Kennedy is that she has the stamina. In her last game, she played the entire 40 minutes, which is absolutely unheard of. And to go from that game, coming into this game, to see this kind of turnaround where she's still doing that well, it's so impressive.
So, Shannon will need to keep up the good effort and good work tonight that she's put in to kind of keep her Saints at bay and with the Mountaineers so far through this game. Now, considering that, as we look back on some third quarter highlights, from the quarter, what we have through this game has seen a really up and down pace. There's no consistency offensively for either side. Kennedy has been one of the few bright spots, a Batnick on the other side for the Mountaineers. But as we do come into this fourth quarter, I think what both coaches would like to say to their teams during this huddle, and you kind of brought it up at halftime, is what's happened defensively is fine. You want to keep that up. There's just somehow, some way, you got to find those shots that are a little bit easier. And it just seems like sometimes as things start to go well, the teams fall back into those harder shots.
No, and at the end of the day, you need to keep it easy. You need to keep it as straightforward as possible because, as we said, it doesn't matter how hard the shot is as long as it goes in. And
in all honesty, the Mountaineers have done a slightly better job than the Saints at getting those open looks as the third quarter kind of developed, though. The Saints found themselves in the right spot and shut those areas out. So the back and forth has continued. Right now the Mohawk Mountaineers up by 6 as we're about to get set for the fourth quarter to start. And I would imagine, again, one of the hype things that has been kind of spoken most about this year between this team is they score in a balanced attack, the Mountaineers. And if anything, Kevin Duffy would really need his team to figure it out tonight because, yes, Monica Batnick has been their most bright spot offensively, but she hasn't exactly been shooting the lights out as none of the Mountaineers have.
No, and we talked about the importance of the defensive line in this game as well, and as we said, it has been going pretty well. But Kiss has been trying to be flexible with his defense and get them moving to balance with what Mohawk's doing, whereas Mohawk sticks to their man-to-man coverage for the most part. They don't really sway too far from that.
A miss inside from Carissa Brown. Loose ball, though, still available. Kucic came up with it, battling, finds Pocket. It goes right back in hard and earns a call. And right there, that's just extra effort on the side of the Mountaineers that outdoes the lack thereof effort of the St. Clair Saints. That's what's going to end up being the difference, I think, in this game because of how much these two teams thus far have struggled offensively, and the touch is just not there. So shots are just not going to appear and out of nowhere start falling. It's going to be the extra effort that earns
you have to be putting that effort. You have to be taking the opportunities. So really, I mean, we said that from from the first second of this game is it's going to be a battle, and it's going to be whoever wants it more.
Pockernick able to hit from the line. The lead extended now for the Mountaineers to 8. First 2 points of the quarter. The leading scorer, of course, for the Mountaineers, Pockernick, 17.4 points per game, leading the team coming in. Also a good free throw shooter, shooting above 70% there. Martin losing the ball along the baseline. Tough defense by Sam Pockernick.
And Martin didn't think she went out. You saw her face on that one, but I mean, I said the ref's right there. It's her call.
So the Mountaineers with a chance to get the first few points now on the board here in the quarter. Rymack under immense pressure by Beeler as she works up court. Rymack to Pockernick. Pockernick works to her left against Reagan, awaiting some movement for the Mountaineer offense. Gives off to Brown. Kucic. Rymack looks inside.
5 seconds on the shot clock.
Pockernick, and the reach in comes from Tam. Not good timing late in the shot clock on the foul. So to start the quarter, things have worked more in the way of the Mountaineers than the Saints, which is a good sign for Mohawk. See if they can make it count on the offensive end. Johns with the up fake, off the inbounds. Her pass, though, kind of went off the hand, glancing off Kucic, who didn't seem ready for it. Reagan the other way, doesn't get fouled, look for the call.
Rymack is right in there, though.
And Rymack, as you mentioned, able to grab the loose ball, but her lead pass for Pockernick just a little too far.
Again,
but somehow, as Kiss cannot believe, and neither can Kennedy, a tip was called by the referee. Kiss cannot believe it at all. Johns looks for Kucic down low. Inside, blocked away by Kennedy, coming through for the Saints on the defensive end. Beeler back the other way. What a lay-in attempt. She came in hot and heavy and just could not bury it.
She's looking to Sam.
Now here's Pockernick, as you mentioned, driving, tried the kick out. She might have earned the call, but instead stepped on the baseline as she made that pass.
Now you can see the intensity, even in just that last 2 minutes, has gone way up.
And it's been picked up, especially starting with the benches. And Andy Kiss getting very involved, trying to will his St. Clair Saints a bit, and it has worked. An early score there has gotten them a little bit back into this one. Cheyenne Reagan. Carissa Brown had that one almost slip out of her hands, but she finds Hunter Johns to the cutting Rymack, cut right through 2 players. Slid on through the defense like a knife through butter. The problem was she just lost the handle. It was off a Saint player, though. So an inbound here. Rymack gets the quick catch and shoot 3, doesn't go. Loose ball, Martin with it. Saints on the run. Martin tried to throw it ahead, goes right into our table. My booster juice almost got messed up, and that's all that really matters to me. No. Unfortunately, we almost got to get a little too close and personal with Aaliyah Martin.
But it's okay. It was narrowly avoided, and that's what counts. Now they're going to bring the
ball to be inbounded by the St. Clair Saints. Riggin takes the inbound from Martin. Riggin working on her opponent, but now double teamed by Dowson O'Neill. Just able to hand it off to Beeler. Good help by Beeler there after the great help defense by the Mountaineers. Martin off the handoff with the shot clock coming down. Too short off front rim. Doused the handoff and stole it. Not the best of passes there as Kennedy was right near Rymack. Now Martin lost her dribble. Has to give it back to Beeler at the top, but the open look is drilled by Beeler. The game now cut down to 4.
Mohawk cannot be giving up those kind of turnovers this late in the game, especially with a score that is this close. We are 4 points apart.
Rymack tries to extend that and does to 7 as Stephanie answers right back with a big clutch 3. 59-52, the Mountaineers have a 7-point advantage as we work towards the 7-minute mark of the fourth quarter. There's an inside look off the hands of the defense. Hanser couldn't quite get possession, and because of that, St. Clair will have to inbounds. There's an open look from Kennedy, does not go off rim. The loose ball is knocked out of bounds by a St. Clair Saint. The Mountaineers will be able to substitute now Monica Batnick in for Sam Pockernick, who's played all the first 3 minutes of the fourth quarter, and will now get herself a quick rest. O'Neill inbounds to Rymack, back to O'Neill, now to Douse. Good work by the Mountaineers to break the so-so full court press of the Saints. Pockernick to Rymack, Rymack. O'Neill open look, a little bit off to the right. She follows up her own shot and almost grabbed the board, but Kennedy beat her to it. Now ahead to Martin. Nice bounce pass. Reagan with the lay-in, wouldn't crawl over the rim. Loose ball poked free. O'Neill on the run. Great hustle by Shan O'Neill.
She's looking for some help.
That ball was a kick ball, though, on her her pass inside, and it will be Mountaineer possession to inbounds with 19 seconds to go. And the Mountaineers have kept up the defensive pressure and also that effort, as you saw it there from O'Neill. That's the definitive effort that has them with this, small advantage still over the Saints. Shot missed by O'Neill. Douse, though, grabs the loose ball rebound, can't get it to go. Reagan gets the board on the run, waiting for teammates to catch up. Reagan, Kennedy, inside, Hanser battling between two Mountaineers, tries to squeeze through, could not. Great keep in by Martin, but her pass picked off by Douse. Rymack outlets for O'Neill. O'Neill, kick out, open three, Batnick, got it! And that will force a timeout call from Andy Kiss and the St. Clair Saints, who have allowed the Mountaineers to expand a 10-point lead, and what a great look. O'Neill, the extra second, and finds a wide open Batnick sitting right behind her for the open three-point shot.
Now, Batnick has definitely been the surprise in this game. She's been all about the three-pointers, which, as we said, Mohawks having so much trouble driving it to the net. I think the three-pointers really are their key to keeping their lead. As you can see, we're at 62-52 for the Mohawk Mountaineers, 10 points separating them with 5 minutes and 48 seconds left in the game.
Well, it's coming down to the nitty-gritty, almost halfway through the final stanza here. And as we know, it's been a close game, a low-scoring game through most of it. Both teams have barely crossed the 50-point mark until we got later into this second half.
It looks like they've woken up at this point. We're seeing a bit of that scrappy attitude.
It's happened, and Mohawk has scored exactly the same amount of points to right now in the second half that they did all of the first half, matching the 31 in the first half with 31 now in the second. St. Clair has done much of the same after a 19-point third quarter. They have only scored, though, 4 points in the fourth quarter, which has not helped as they've tried to keep pace with the Mountaineers. So slowly, the Mountaineers, the offense is picked up, but as we're mentioning now, the St. Clair Saints need to find themselves or else they'll get real far behind here, and that would work just beneficially more for Mohawk.
Oh, they would lose that second place position.
Rymack from the corner drills a three out of the timeout.
As we said, this team has woken up.
13-point lead for Mohawk. Kennedy turned it over inside. Rymack fouled hard by Kennedy, but that means another opportunity to stretch this lead. The Mountaineers are starting to take over with 5:25 to go. And you can sense it all over Andy Kiss, and it's possibly bleeding onto the court a bit through his team, is the fact that this team feels that second place slipping away, because if they lose this game, they've now lost their ability to decide if they can finish in second. They will need the Mountaineers to drop a game along the way, or else it is the Mountaineers' position to lose if they can hold on to this lead tonight.
And as you said, for St. Clair, you can see the frustration spreading onto the court, and that's where they're going to fall apart more, because as soon as that frustration happens, they're not paying as close attention to the game. They're not making the best plays, and we're seeing them fall apart.
And I think, oh my goodness, I couldn't even get a
Another
thought out.
turnover for Mohawk.
I couldn't even think before Steph stole that ball. And Andy Kiss, and poor Andy Kiss, looked over like Christopher Walken, which I'm sorry to say he does have slight resemblance of, and just pointed dully over at our table.
Walken. Let's take a look at
But
Steph.
we have to take a look at Steph Rymack, who stole it so fast I couldn't even breathe almost, let alone think
you can't keep
to
up with
score.
her.
And then, as I mentioned, so diffused by all this action here in the past minute since his last time out. Kiss is calling a timeout pretty much to say, what did I just tell you? And I get that feeling is almost setting in too much on the Saints. You can look at them right now on the sideline as we see Kiss here on our great camera shot from our guys right over near the sideline. And the rest of the teammates, there's a great look from our camera guys, just demoralized. They just don't seem like they have any energy left to give, and they look in shock that they've almost let this lead expand to nearly 20, and most of it in the past 2 minutes, Christine.
No, well, as I said before, Kiss had said it was going to be a battle. That's exactly what we've gotten. And he even explained to me it's really hard to make set plays to go against Mohawk because they are that good under Duffy's lead that they can anticipate where they're going. So it's really hard to make a set plan before you go onto the court. You really do need to have that adaptability. And as soon as the frustration grows, St. Clair is losing that adaptability.
And unfortunately, this game might actually become a little more stretched out if things are to continue. Of course it will. And therefore, we might not have exactly that close end that we really were forecasting in that third quarter. We thought this game would come down to the final possession, if not at least the final minute. Right now, as there's another turnover, a horrifying inbounds pass to no one from the St. Clair Saints. This game is really getting out of hand.
No, we're looking at 69 for Mohawk, 52 for St. Clair with 5:12 left in the game.
Not a good sign from the Saints. Batnick off the catch. Great little up fake, nice drive, and a better finish. Mohawk has cracked the 70-point marker, leaving St. Clair nearly 20 points behind. Here's a nice outlet pass, though, from the Saints. They try to attack the rim. Tam, though, much too hard off glass, had an open look and blew it. Kennedy, though, great work offensively, in the offensive end.
But Shakayla brings it back.
Get it. Good point, Douse. Great back checking there, almost, if you want to say, to use a hockey term. There's a shot that goes up from O'Neill, doesn't go. Tam the board. Beeler now, under pressure, though, has to knock it off the legs of Rymack just to keep possession for St. Clair. So, the Mountaineers have kept up the pressure. They've expanded it to a 19-point advantage right now, and they are showing no signs of letting up at all. And that is exactly what Duffy preaches. These are the kind of teams and games that you would not want to give a single minute or opportunity to.
No, and they just need to stay this strong for the next 4 minutes,
And
as
they're
you can see.
showing it. Oh,
Stephanie
my.
Rymack.
Stephanie Rymack, like you mentioned. And one, cutting to the hoop, strong with the left hand. We have to take another look as Steph once again forces us to take a couple more looks at some fine basketball as she has created some steals, and these turnovers are clearly turning into points that are costing the Saints more than on the scoreboard, but more mentally, I think.
Oh, you can see, if you just take a look at them, you can see it right on their faces. But Rymack coming in again for a foul. Let's take a look. And she gets that first shot.
And as you said, Rymack just not missing these opportunities for points. So a three-point play the old school way, but it was called, again, this is the second time in a row, an extremely hard foul. And because it was a hard foul, possession for the Mountaineers here. And of course, that's being called, I believe, a flagrant in that case. And that one, I'm not 100% sure which St. Clair Saint it went against, but there's about 2 more offensive rebounds for Douse, but unable to get one to go underneath. Saints the other way, trying to get something going offensively. Martin, off front rim, didn't get to go. Loose ball. Somehow, Mountaineers can't believe it, but possession remains in favor of the Saints.
I was sure that went off the foot of
It looked
one
like
of
it
the
went off
saves.
the foot of Martin herself, and now, after a little chat, they will make that call, justifiably so, Mountaineer possession. Rymack getting a well-deserved break will come to the sidelines here and onto the court for the Mountaineers. Joining Pockernick, O'Neill, Carissa Brown is Kucic and Johns. Pockernick to Jasmina Kucic, the top rookie in terms of scoring and defense for the Mountaineers, and one of the best in all the OCAA. And there's teammate Shannon O'Neill, still one of the better all-around players in the OCAA, both offensively and defensively, and now shows it on both sides. What a steal by Shannon. What a keep it. Carissa Brown under pressure finds O'Neal. O'Neal wants to reset things. Another great part of Shannon's game, such patience for a player. After being at 100 and seems like 50 miles per hour to be able to tone down.
Can't handle it though. Oh, but it goes back to Shannon.
And Shannon just missing, as you said, finding herself there near the ball. There, Kiss cannot believe that Whack didn't deserve a foul. And now the referees are going to call a technical foul on the St. Clair coaching staff. Andy Kiss cannot believe it. He does not have a clue how the Whack call came, or sorry, did not come against the Mountaineers there, which forced what was about a 4th or 5th opportunity for the Mountaineers offensively in that series alone.
Couldn't have said it better. We'll see if Sam Pockernick can put some more points on the board here.
Pockernick has been very good from the line today, as
Except
she has
for
on the
right
season.
there.
Except for when I probably mentioned it right before she shoots.
Well, you jinxed her. That was really your fault.
So Pockernick misses the one-off on the flagrant foul shot, or the technical foul shot, I should say, after the coach receives the technical.
We're calling a timeout for St. Clair.
And Kiss wanting the timeout as he came over to the sideline. Probably just wants to talk to his team right now, who I'm sure they're behind the 8 ball in points, and this game has slipped away from them. They're down 25. Things have pretty much left them behind. They're not coming back in this one. And at the same time, it's probably harsher, I think, because of the fact that they lost the last game. So this game became a game that they needed to win in order to stay above Mohawk, and the way they've really played this 4th quarter has been just awful.
Well, I think it's hard once you go from a 4-win streak and then you have that loss. It really does just bring the whole team down, and then to come into the debark here and have a game like this, as you said, clearly not playing all the way through, which you can't do that at this point. I mean, playoffs are in sight. As we said, they are fighting for this 2nd place position, and I think at this point it is pretty safe to say they've lost it. Coming back from this deficit is a lot of work, and I don't see that they can pick up the slack at this point in the game.
And it would be tough to ask the Saints to make up a 25-point deficit in a game that both sides have not hit the 25-point mark in a quarter.
Let alone 3 minutes and 12 seconds.
Now, the Mountaineers do have, after scoring 23 in the 3rd quarter alone, have compiled 23 points again in the 4th quarter with still 3 minutes to play. I imagine they will surpass 25 points in this quarter, but I do not see the Saints making up this deficit. And for now, I think right now the Mountaineers, as that was an inbound pass that nearly went in the net from Carissa Brown.
We're not part of the game, guys.
If you've ever wanted to see one of the craziest things ever, you might want to replay the last few minutes of this game. But Carissa Brown tried to inbounds that to Hunter Johns under the net, nearly put it in. That was one of the most crazy 3-point attempts I've ever seen. If it was. Riggin, pass inside off about 3 pairs of hands, still going through hands, and Pockernick picks it up. Sam just seems to know where the ball is. Most Mountaineers seem to find the ball a few more times than the Saints in tonight's game, unfortunately for St. Clair's case. O'Neal to Johns, inside, Kucic, but she had taken 3 seconds, and the setup just took too long for the Mountaineers there to get it inside to her. And now we're going to see
we've got a whole new lineup coming on.
A substitution of 5 different players from Kevin Duffy, and you get the feeling what he's trying to do is rest the players who he does need.
Yeah. And you know what? It gives the chance for the people who do spend more time on the bench to get a little bit more court time.
And some of those players would include Desiree Dutrazak on the court right now, number 4, number 5, Callie Strongman, both more fresh faces to the team. Dutrazak joined them last year midway through the season. Callie joined them at the start of this season as a new member of the Mohawk Mountaineers. And so they will get a few more minutes here added to their time with 2.5 to play in this 4th quarter. Again, the lead remains 25 for the Mountaineers. Tam off the inbounds. Down low. Riley Welsh double dribbled as the referee was right on it from the baseline with the call. And another turnover. That puts St. Clair well over the 20 mark in this game. The Mountaineers have had consistent efforts on defense night in and night out, forcing opponents to at least what seems like a minimum of 20 turnovers per game, something that is not easy to accomplish.
And we saw Batnick coming off the court, sending in another face we don't see a lot, Danielle Datskew, number 23 for the Mohawk Mountaineers.
And again, Danielle joining the other 2 fresh faces. That's 3 newer faces, we should say, that, as you mentioned again about Jasmina, not as new now that the year is come towards an end as Riggin is fouled on her drive to the basket there for the Saints. But for the Mountaineers, still, albeit maybe not fresh and rookies, not as much time, like you mentioned, as other players on the court to fine-tune their game and get adjusted to this OCAA style of play. And so here, another couple minutes to notch under the belt. Riggin from the line, able to hit for Riggin. Cheyenne.
See if she can close that gap a little more.
And she's only a 53.8% free throw shooter coming in. And she pretty much stays true to that, going 1 for 2 from the line. And Riley Welsh unable to keep her balance as she came down with that rebound, stepped on a foot but was fouled, and the ball will be inbounced from the baseline. 4 fouls for each team, 1 away from the penalty with just 2 minutes to go. That could slow things down a bit for both teams. Ball goes down low, inside to Markovic, who's not gotten a whole lot of time either for the Saints tonight. They've also put on Caldarelli. There's a 3 from Cheyenne Riggin that creeps it over. So one of the few things that we've seen tonight actually go in for either team from the outside look, although the Mountaineers have gotten their shots to fall much more consistently in this second half. Karina Brown, inside, Douse almost able to grab it. Strongman, great steal, active hands, driving, put it in. Will it count? No. They're going to say off to the baseline for an inbound. She was clearly still on the floor when the foul was committed, and the blocking foul will bring Strongman to the line because it is a foul, and they are in the penalty now, St. Clair. So things might slow down a bit here with some foul shots. Callie, though, able to hit the first of 2.
Get some more points, get some stats up for her here.
Strongman, a 75% free throw shooter for the Mountaineers. And she'll add to that with a pair of free throws that push the Mohawk advantage back up. 23 now, 79-56 for the Mohawk Mountaineers.
Only a minute 30 left in this game.
Whipped around at the top. Here's another new face, Daguerre, who has not had much time for the Saints tonight. Missing that opportunity. Now Strong with the board. Douse now up to Datskew. Datskew. Desiree Dutrazak. Dutrazak to Karina Brown. Brown looking for Strongman off the screen up top. Strongman to Dutrazak. Inside, Brown working against Daguerre with an easy turnaround right hand off the glass. That goes. Everything working for the Mohawk Mountaineers now.
About time.
Took long enough to get things cooking offensively, but they definitely have. They've even outscored themselves in their match against Sheridan, where they only collected 73 points in the win. Another good defensive matchup. They've given up a few more points than the Sheridan victory, but the offense has turned out even a little better. And after all the things we said in the first half about the lack of offense, 50 points now in the second half for the Mountaineers, a much better effort.
Well, whatever Duffy said, it clearly worked. We've seen more of an effort. We've seen more of that drive, that hunger for the win. And, I mean, hey, as we said, it's turned around for them. It's looking like they're going to finish in that second place position.
So that one not able to go on the second shot, and both have missed, both are misses from the line. But St. Clair remains in possession with 1:02 to go. 25-point advantage for the Mohawk Mountaineers, well on their way to securing the 12th win of the season with just 2 games left in the game. In the season. And a minute left in the game. You had me so confused, I don't know what I'm talking about.
I like confusing you. We have 5 seconds left on the shot clock. We'll see if we can make it.
Daguerre puts it up, did not get it to go near the net. Shot clock goes off. Also, Riley Welsh grabbed the loose ball but fell out of bounds as she did so. So 47.9 seconds left, ticking down to the final seconds of this one. As mentioned, 12 wins now for the Mountaineers on the season, guaranteed second place out of this one. However, doesn't guarantee them second place just yet. They still have 2 games remaining on the season. The Saints have 3, as there's a loose ball picked up by Johns underneath. But it is a big win for the Mountaineers. It's the step they needed, and at the same time, they're going to be able to go forward now, deciding their destiny if they can set themselves up with an automatic berth in the OCAA provincial playoffs.
Well, and they've been doing a really good job of that too. As we said, we've seen the win streak, the fact that they are continuing that moving forward. It's exactly the momentum you want going into those playoff games.
Johns makes the first from the line, and now she's able to make both. Hunter, just to check in on her free throw shooting, quite a good free throw shooter, averaging 73.1% as her free throw percentage coming into tonight's action. She's probably boosted that now Going perfect there from the line. There's a quick shot thrown up by Caldarelli. She follows her own board well, but couldn't make either. Loose ball bounds away, and the shot clock can be turned off now. The final possession will be brought in by the Mountaineers, and they'll walk this one out to victory with 18.8 seconds to go. Duffy will be pleased, and as mentioned, a 12th win will give them sole possession a second as they move forward with just 2 games remaining still to play. One more match, which would come against Fanshawe, who is still in the top 5 of the West and a tough opponent.
Well, this is it. We got 1 second left, and that is the game. Mohawk wins 83-56 against the St. Clair Saints.
So, final score 83-56, as Christine mentioned, 27-point blowout victory. The Mountaineers had almost no trouble getting the offense going in the second half. It took a little because the first half was so tight defensively, but once the Mountaineers got the ball going, if you want to say, a little bit of a crappy basketball coach to use there, but once the ball got rolling for them offensively, it really got working, and also the defense never let up in the second half. So more so, I would like to think that St. Clair, it wasn't that the offense wasn't clicking, it was just the Mountaineers had such a great defensive effort all night from the first quarter all the way through, and this is something that Duffy would love to have going forward as you start to get into the later part of the season, because this is what you want in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, realistically, here in sports all the time, the key to a good offense is a good defense. And as you said, that's what we saw in today's game. They were flexible, they kept the ball moving.
And, well, at the end of the game, St. Clair had no response for the Mountaineer offense as they take it away, as mentioned, 83-56. We have some Mountaineer highlights we'll put up for you as the Mountaineers advance to 12-4, sole possession of second place in the OCAA Western Division. For the cast and crew,
I was going to say, we'll be here for the men's game at 8 o'clock. Let's take a look at these highlights. We'll catch you then.
For the cast and crew, I'm Nick Birnie. For Christine Midgley, take care, everyone.